All right, top 5 Testament albums, in my opinion, plus some words about Parabellum. Number 1, absolutely, hands down, my favorite record by the band, The Legacy, first record, 1987. It's where it all started. It's not where it all started for me, though. I came to this album backwards. It was actually later when I got into the band. But this remains my hands down favorite Testament album. I think it's the strongest one. Best songwriting. Just one of those albums that, you know, the band couldn't possibly have calculated this. It just happened. It's a perfect album. Good thrash. Second favorite is Practice What You Preach from 1989. A little bit of an unpopular opinion, but this is where I actually got into the band, and about that year too, right around 89 or going into 90 even. Somebody at school had it, lent it to me, and I just immediately started fixating on this. It was new. The songwriting on here was different than what I was used to. The guitar duo of Alex and Eric Peterson, what they were doing was a little bit different than a lot of the other Bay Area thrash bands. More detailed, more intricate, musical. Plus, I was really immediate fan of Chuck Billy's vocals. I love his singing voice. I love his little bit of the growling that he would do occasionally, and I love that gruff. I always thought it was like similar to a James Hetfield, but so different. So yeah, this was my opening way into the band, and as a result, it still continues to be one of my favorites. The New Order, third favorite. Obviously, this album, I mean, just a classic. A lot of people consider this to be their best album, and you could make that case. I could make that case. The songwriting, you could already see that they were going away with all of the pure speed, and they were going for the melodic songwriting on this one. You could hear in just 1 year's time they had written this, recorded it, and put it out in 1988, and you could hear the advancement of the songwriting. You could hear they were already starting to branch out, as they would continue to do pretty much throughout their career, and they, as of today, they still do that. So, third favorite. This is also an unpopular opinion, but 1994's Low album is a high point for me. When this album came out, it came out during that kind of right around the beginning of the what I like to call the dark ages of metal, where bands were getting softer, breaking up, not putting out thrash albums anymore. Death metal was all the rage, but we were on like the third tier of the death metal bands, and I thought this was unique and refreshing at the time. Obviously, it didn't sound like Testament sounded. Chuck Billy is still Chuck Billy, but Alex had left, and that left Eric to do a lot of the guitar work and everything. And it was actually during this time, they got James Murphy to come in here and do some stuff as well. But there's a lot of Eric Peterson on here, and this is the album that really showed me how amazing of a guitar player Eric is and he continues to be. He just continues to be a solid player, up and up and up all the time. I actually really enjoy his songwriting. But this was a great album. They were playing around with a little bit of sounds and stuff on here. There's even a couple of songs that could be considered almost like an industrial kind of thing going on. Fear Factory was becoming pretty popular at the time. So I understand the pushback that this album gets, but from start to finish, I like this one a lot. Still play it to this day. Fifth favorite was actually the second record that I got into, and that is the Souls of Black album from 1990. And by all accounts, this was a rushed album. It was rushed in the studio, it was rushed in the writing period, and as a result, a lot of the band don't favor this one too much, but I think this is a really good album. It also has the Legacy song on it, which is one of my favorites from them. But yeah, this one, it gets kind of a bad rap, but I really favor this record a lot. It's my 5th favorite, at least today it is. Tomorrow it might be my 4th, but great record. Way better than even the band gives it credit, and fans as well. But yeah, I'm a big fan of this album. I think it's pretty strong, pretty solid. A couple of honorable mentions are Testament has done a couple of live albums that I just really love. Live at Eindhoven in '87, I think is essential. It's raw. It's kind of like the Forbidden from the same concert. It's just the initial band, really raw, kind of green, and just out there just playing with everything they got, trying to prove to everybody, you know. And it's those rare times where you get that if you can capture that either on a studio album or on a live album, they stand the test of time pretty good. So this one is definitely a favorite. And also this one came out in 1995, live at the Fillmore. Has Eric Peterson playing alongside James Murphy. Great set list, great sounding. I listened, this was from like the Low era. I listened to this a lot when it came out. It was again, it came out a year after Low, and it was just during that time where there just wasn't a lot of great stuff coming out. So this, being that it was a live album, it was already familiar to me, and then there was new energy kind of pushed into some of these songs, and just a new take. And Chuck is amazing on this, as usual. He just continues to be amazing throughout. So definitely honorable mention there. And that brings me to the new album, Parabellum, which translates into Prepare for War. So I've listened to this at least 10 times, but I think probably closer to around 15 times. And when I put it on the first time, I was immediately, song number 1, For the Love of Pain, just totally reminded me of Dragon Lord, Eric Peterson's kind of black metal side project band that he had going there for a while. They put out 3 albums, and especially the first 2 are pretty decent, but you know, they were kind of a melodic, blackened thrash metal band with some symphonics going on. That had progressed throughout until the 3rd album would be like the ultimate of that style, all kind of melding together, and then they broke up. I don't know why. But Parabellum, this is a great record. Is it going to be a classic? I don't know. I'll have to get back to you in 5 years. That's kind of the thing with me. I absorb music very slowly over time for long periods of time, which is probably why my top 5 are all at least 25 years old. But I will tell you this, in the later material, especially like the last time that Testament really impressed me was in 2012 with Roots of Earth album. Love that album, but I probably am gonna like this one more. It seems like this one has much more staying power. Initially, after about 5 or 6 runs through, Nature of the Beast actually kind of bored me. And then Room 17 kind of got on me a little bit too. So that for me was kind of a low point, but it has since smoothed out to where it's not as low of a point. Nature of the Beast specifically has some different kind of guitar playing in it that actually grew to favor quite a bit. And Room 117 ended up having a pretty cool riff in it that I've since attached myself to. So they're not even like the standout tracks of the album. I think For the Love of Pain, Shadow People, Meant to Be, Parabellum. My favorite so far is Havana Syndrome. I think that's the best song on the album. It's catchy. It's great. It's got some great riffs in it, solos, and Chuck Billy. He put a vocal melody in that song that is infectious from pretty much the first listen, and it just continued to grab me more and more as time went on. So I think it's a great record. I have no idea where this will end up being in their catalog, you know, as time goes on. One of the things that was immediately apparent to me was the kind of burst of energy, and that could have to do with their new drummer, Chris Dovis is his name, and he's been around in some other bands, but I actually only know him from one other band, and he did the Seven Spires, some albums from them. This was their second record, and he came on board for this one. I like this album a lot, and what is really amazing about this record is that he drives it so well. He's a very good drummer, lots of energy. He's a younger guy. He's much younger than the other guys. I think at this point he's 27, right around there somewhere. And so I think that's him right there. But anyway, he definitely drove this album. It's a good record, but those drums. And so you hear that immediately on Parabellum, right from the get-go. You can hear the energy. And also Eric Peterson. Eric Peterson is amazing on here. He did a lot of the songwriting on this album. Alex contributed as well, of course, but you can hear Eric Peterson on here a lot. I feel like this is much more of an Eric Peterson album than anything else. Chuck Billy, I think he wrote all the lyrics, or most of them. And his vocals on here are astounding. Again, you know, it's funny because I always wondered, like I've always loved when he did his death metal vocals. You know, it's not like a true death metal vocal, but it's getting down there pretty deep. I always thought, what would it be like if he did an album like that? I always thought I'd like to hear it. Well, when they did, I didn't like the album. Demonic, they did, and he did pretty much a solid death metal growl throughout. But I think what's effective is his singing vocal mixed with his gruff vocals that he does, mixed with his occasional dips into like a death metal vocal, is what makes him so effective. And he is. And this album is very good for that. Probably his best vocal performance in years. And that's saying something, because he's no slouch. That guy never ever is laying down on the job. He's always going. So yeah, this is a great record. I've really enjoyed it. It seems to be sticking around. I still enjoy listening to it. I pine to hear it, which is great. And that hasn't happened with the last two Testament albums specifically. The last time, like I said earlier, that happened was in 2012 with the Roots of Earth album. So yeah, that would be my thoughts on this. And then playing in the background, if you can even hear that, is the Epitome of Illusions album by Limbic Art, the Norwegian symphonic death metal or black metal band. Anyway, that's it. Thanks for tuning in. See ya.